Folks, what if I told you medbed technology isn't some future breakthrough waiting to be released, but it's actually here. It's here now, and it's proven in medical studies, just hidden under different names. Jonathan Otto is back with 4 groundbreaking studies released this December that together create an undeniable picture. The regenerative technology that we call medbed already exists as light therapy and PEMF. Scientists just can't use that name yet. From prostate cancer remission to thyroid regeneration to stem cell activation, this technology is achieving what we were told medbeds would do. Jonathan, welcome back to reveal what they've been hiding in plain sight. Let's jump right into it because there are 4 major studies that just dropped. When you put them all together, what picture emerges about this technology?
Sure, Gary. I mean, thank you for having me on. I am blown away at what's happening, what we're seeing firsthand. It is like, I mean, look, I've seen so many horror stories in my life, and I think most people have, but it's worse when you don't have tools and people are suffering in front of you. And it's why, top doctors have recommended my work. Like, I'm looking here, this is a book, and just to frame what the perspective here and to establish some credibility. This is a book I wrote, and it's a pretty edgy title here. This here is the world's leading oncologist. He had to decline a Rogan interview because he didn't want to get his clinic to get shut down. But he says here, look, Jonathan's been a dear friend and esteemed colleague for nearly a decade. He's a beacon of hope in this escalating crisis. He's a formidable health advocate, and he's nothing short of an inspiration. To those battling cancer and other chronic diseases, this book is a potential lifesaver. This book isn't just timely, it's a practical and necessary tool. Anyone touched by cancer seeking to prevent it, this book isn't recommended, it's essential. And so I'm talking about, and I hate that so many people have been up against so many things. Like last night, for example, I went through a study showing a 90 to 100% success on diabetic foot ulcers. And the person was writing, I wish I had have known about this before my husband had part of his foot removed. I wish I had have known this. I wish I had have known this. I stayed up 3 hours doing a webinar last night because we are seeing, you name it, turn around in front of our eyes. And that sounds like so far-fetched. And that's why 2 nights ago when I was on Tim Pool, he fact-checked everything I said live when we went over to the Rumble. and he said, this is true. And he was really shocked about it. We are seeing miracles, to be more compliant. We're seeing remission. We're seeing people manage their symptoms and conditions in ways that we never thought possible. And we're seeing people get their lives back.
That's amazing. No, I always enjoy having you here because there's always new information, new studies, and just breakthroughs that really get swept under the rug, especially by big pharma when you have solutions that can treat so many different things. And I'm grateful to have this device in my home personally. My wife, it's part of our personal regimen, and we've seen miracles happen in our home. I mean, you've got the text messages from my wife, and she talks about these things and her anxiety. And for me, with my workout regimen and my diet and the recovery that I have to go through after you do an intense workout, all of those things are combined. And what's beautiful is that you have this technology. But what I do want to talk about is the stem cell research. It's fascinating because stem cells are really like the beginning of it all. And this seems to be like the key that really explains everything. Can you show us how red light activates the body's repair mechanisms and educate me too, so I know what's happening in my body when I use this?
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is critical. So I appreciate you getting your head wrapped around these concepts because, why would it work for so many things? And this is where you come across like, no, this is not possible. This person is so unbelievable because how could it work for so many different things? And why does it work for weight loss and for thyroid conditions and for cancer and for autoimmune conditions and osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis? And why that doesn't make sense. But once you understand the stem cell connection and the mitochondrial stem cell connection, then it now starts making sense. So the reason
you mentioned, just before you jump into you mentioned weight loss, and I do want to get into that if we can, if we have time today,
Yeah.
because I am on a weight loss journey myself, and I am using the red light, and there's certain settings on that device that there is a weight loss setting. There's full spectrum setting. Maybe you can walk me through some of that stuff later and explain it. But I didn't mean to interrupt, but you did mention that. So please
Yeah.
continue with respect to the
Oh,
stem cells.
absolutely. And that was like, you saw me just drop in. I was looking at where did I put that image? I had an image before of, I think, yeah, that was it. Where
Look at this guy. Look at this guy, bro.
Oh, thanks, man. This is one of the first times I've only ever showed this live one other time. This was like a week or two ago. But the funny part when we were talking off camera, I was telling you that
dude, look at you, man.
I appreciate it, man. But look, you actually won't find any of these pictures of me online or anything like that. Even though maybe I will do it because.
But you will find them on the next news network. That's right.
But the funny part was that I don't actually. I've started like working out a little bit, but I told you I've like worked out for like about 5 times in the last month for about 10 minutes a time. And that's not normal. I haven't really been working out. But you'd be like, bro, you're a health guy. Why? You shouldn't be bragging about that. I'm not bragging about that. I should be working out more, but I do surf and I do have young children that I'm chasing around all the time. So I am active, but it does start like making sense why all these clinics are using red light, even though some of them are charging $250 for a 15-minute session. I just got off the phone with one of the clinics, and they're getting incredible results, and people are paying $3,000 for a 60-day transformation, which is twice a week, 15 minutes. And they're using it specifically for body sculpting. Okay. So anyway, this is not supposed to be a like vanity-based thing. I'm more interested in reversing disease, so let's just move from this topic. But
let's it's not about me. He says it's not about me, but hey, look at my abs, baby. Let's go. I want abs like Jonathan Otto. Okay.
Dude, people are gonna
let's
use
go.
So much crap now. I don't even read the comments. Okay.
All right, back to the stem cell research, because that's what makes Jonathan Otto look like a superhuman.
Oh, I don't know about
that. Tell me about this stem cells.
No editing. Okay, so stem cells. Stem cells are what we function off, and our ability to continue to produce more stem cells and cause them to turn into organ cells. Okay, so now these two frames are called proliferation, which is the production of new stem cells, and differentiation, which is the maturation when a stem cell matures into an organ cell or any other cell in the body. So when you are using red light, it is proven in clinical studies to actually cause the production, proliferation, and differentiation of those stem cells. Now, that is why and that's the clinical study on this, showing that these are called mesenchymal stromal stem cells, and they're being produced in the bones and then circulating in the body, and they're going to the areas that they're needed most, and they actually do interact with cancer. And that's interesting when you then look at this research and then you go through, okay, why is it working for all these different types of cancer? And I think what's really relevant about this is if I'm a man, I have a prostate. I may not have prostate cancer, but I don't want to have it. And the study that was prolific on this, published in the Lancet Oncology, showed a 360% increase in your ability to put prostate cancer in remission. Why was it so effective? And why was it working for the big C for breast and the stomach and the colorectal? And it's because it's interfacing with these cells that aren't normal, and it's causing, in some cases, them to either, 1, become normal, or 2, to die. And that's apoptosis, programmed cell death, which you're doing through energy. Once the cell has enough energy, it can go into apoptosis, which is programmed cell death. Cells are lacking energy, so they can't even make that conversion, and they stay in this no man's land, and they're draining energy from the body. And that's actually why they're referred to as cancer stem cells. Guys, do the research. It's real. And that's why now then you come over to other conditions and you look at how it's working for lupus, fibromyalgia, how all of these proven wavelengths here working with mitochondrial health. The relevancy of those wavelengths are the ones because they're, most wavelengths, even the $150,000 beds in clinics are using typically just 850 and 660 if you're lucky. Whereas we've got 9 of the most proven wavelengths. You actually, in many cases, in most cases, will have a superior device to what you would even pay for the big clinic down the road that, is really, it's expensive, right? It's maybe not a good way. You don't own it at the end of the day. But these are some of the conditions, and it's quite limitless. So it's interfacing with the stem cells. It's causing people to be able to regenerate. And so it's working with the function of those organs, whether it's the thyroid, whether it's the kidneys, whether it's the heart, and it's proven in all organs. And then because all of those organs have mitochondria, they need light more than they need anything else. And once they get light, they produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That's cellular energy. It's voltage, and they store it like a battery, and they use it for all cellular function, whether it's detox, cellular repair, bone regeneration. They use it to take a stem cell, and then that energy by the way, mitochondria are within the stem cells. Do you get it now? And once the mitochondria have energy, they can then go and drive that stem cell to go and perform all the functions that it needs to, and to mature and become a big boy and become a heart cell, an organ cell that it needs to be, without it staying stuck and having these disease cells floating around your body, which are called senescent cells.
I wanted to just jump back real quick to something you said, which was with respect to what it costs at a clinic. You said $250 for a 15-minute session, and your devices put it in your home, and you have it forever. Yeah. And you never have to pay that. And that's I think that's remarkable. And again, I'm blessed to have this device. And of course, you even gifted us a device to give to a friend who is going through something, and as well as a PEMF mat, which is basically that's the double punch combo, which creates the medbed technology. So, they're using it right now. We're waiting to hear back on how it's working in their family, but they've explained that they're using it all the time, as we are. So I didn't mean to interrupt that, but I think it's an important point to continue. And for folks who want to just jump into it and you want to get it now, you like what you're seeing here, the results, just go to the links in the description and take action and do something for your health this holiday season. You will not regret it. Continue, please.
Yeah, thank you. And Gary, just seconding that, at the end of the day, we'll show you a ton of great studies, and we'll give you lots of data and reference points. And that is going to open up questions, and they're a Google search away for people as well. Okay, I've got this symptom, this condition, does red light work for this? Put it into the search engine yourself, and you'll see what I'm seeing, and it is mind-blowing. And then from there, you're just there at a decision point, or even just after watching this, you're at a decision point. What do I want to do? Do I want to see if this could work? And then that's what to me, like you can't just keep getting exposed to information that is so dramatic and life-changing for so many other people, and then just go, yeah, maybe, I don't know, and be skeptical about things that when the data is there. And I'm going to keep showing you clinical studies.
Well, I do want to bring up a point you brought up in a previous interview, that like some people might freak out if they see the price, but first of all, there's codes that you can get to reduce the price, and not only that, but you also have an opportunity for people to have a payment system. And you even have a healthy return policy, which allows people to try it. So there's really no risk. And I mean, once you try it, you're going to be like, oh, these results are amazing. So why return this device? And I think that also needs to be driven home for people who might be on that fence looking for a reason why, oh, I saw these results and what am I going to do? Well, guess what? Here's your answer. So anyway, I just want to bring that point too.
No, thank you. And I really think that a lot of folks are going to, just get that picture loud and clear. Like, this is an example here of a belt that's a couple $100. And we had a woman, Dee Dee, she had a 9 out of 10 pain score. She wrapped that around her back, a sciatica. She had quit part-time work as a massage therapist. That was a $48,000 a year salary, Dee Dee. And then She went to a 0 out of 10 pain score, right? I'm not saying this is a case study. It's not a double-blinded randomized control. I'm going to show you all the randomized control studies. What you'll find is the results that we're seeing firsthand match and even exceed the clinical studies in many settings. But she just put that on her back and reclaimed her career. And so what was a couple $100 actually over the course of the next 10 years, she did the math when I was interviewing her, that's like $500,000 over the next 10 years. Did this cost her anything, or did she just reclaim her income? So do the math, guys. And like, you tell me what you would trade one of your organs for. And yeah. Right. And then having a device like the one behind me that's going over all my organs makes a lot of sense, because you're protecting the health of your organs. And what would be actually end up working out at about more like 10 cents a session over the next few years, if you do the math on spending, like, let's say you spend $1,000 on a device, which you can on the page. Do the math over the next few years of what it costs per session using it daily. Instead of $250 for a 15-minute session, you're paying 10 cents for it's crazy, or 20 cents, whatever, right? You just do the math and you'll see it. But guys, check this out. So this one is an example here, like where we're seeing with childhood myopia. So, one device in the home, what does that mean? And it means that your children, if you have children or grandchildren, if they're going in front of the device, over a 6,400 child study, over 41 actually clinical trials, red light was the #1 most effective treatment for slowing eye growth and vision worsening. And the mechanism was, it's thought to work by improving blood flow in the eye, which is to do with nitric oxide and cytochrome C oxidase signaling, which improves the blood flow. It reduces strain and inflammation, prevents the eyeball from elongating too quickly. So these are examples where, okay, then what did you do? You saved money from stopping the vision worsening of your child, which then makes them safer, more able to experience life and to see things clearly without needing aid, and then needing to get put on a worse prescription each year or whatever it is. And then you just keep going through the list of things. Then you realize that the liver is getting heavily affected by all the toxicity that's in our world today. And with liver cancer, even, we're seeing profound results, let alone with fatty liver and cirrhosis, because the mitochondria, again, are in the liver. Liver is the most regenerative organ in the body. If you chopped it in half, it would grow back. Okay. Yeah, so it's super regenerative. It's like a Wolverine kind of organ. And so it just needs the stimulus for the cellular energy to detoxify all the toxins that are conjugating in the liver, because it's trying to detox. It's your detox hub. And if you fix the liver, you can fix your health. So, and this is one of the major reasons. And so a lot of people, they're going to think like, okay, I'm just going to go after this one area. And that's why we're saying, well, consider the medbed hack instead of, yeah, sure, like using a device that's just over the area. Like my dad, we shared his case study where, I spent $30,000 on stem cells for his knees and he did not get better. And this was about over the last 7 years, I tried it. We had at least 4 injections. And there was one knee that we're going after in particular because it was worse than the other. It didn't work for us at all. 0% improvement, which was so discouraging. I was the one putting the money out, and he was the one that was feeling the pain. So we both felt the blow of that. Red light, a couple $100 device, fixed his issue. He doesn't have pain at all in either knee. These are the mechanisms, and we're thrilled seeing it.
Amazing. The prostate study.
Yeah.
49 achieved complete remission. Walk us through those results and why vascular targeted photodynamic therapy is revolutionary.
Yes, that's such a great question. Okay, I'll tell you why it's revolutionary. You're a man, and once you find out that if you have prostate cancer and you go the traditional route, you want me to tell you what your chances are of being impotent?
Oh, I don't want to know.
9 out of 10 chance, 90% chance that you will become impotent. Okay. That's what this study said. Okay. And this was Lancet Oncology. And now 2 different groups, and you said 49, which is correct, 49%, but it was 413 people. So that's about 200 people that went into complete remission, not partial, complete, Whereas if you went to the control group that didn't take red light, which, by the way, just tell me, Gary, how you would feel if it was your dad that was in the control group, that was double blinded, that meant that they got the fake light.
Oh, I'd be pissed.
Yep. And then
I
you
would be,
knew
yeah.
that it was the roll of a dice that put him in one group or the other. And I don't know how even ethically we can do these studies, but I can just tell you that this is the sacrifice. Randomized clinical controlled studies are the sacrifice. Now, once we know, unless this is a 2-year study, and that's the travesty there. If it was 30 days, I could say, okay, fine. But it was 2 years. These people went without a treatment that they needed for 2 years. And at what point do we say, look, the Nobel Prize was won for red light therapy, or actually light therapy, in 1903, and we're still putting people through studies where they don't get the treatments that they need for reversing disease, right?
Wow.
Yes. And now, if you were in the red light group, 6% ended up getting surgery. If you were in the control group, 30% got surgery. What's that ratio? That's a 500% increase in your ability to not get surgery, not get chopped up. Okay. I'm not going to demonize the industry. I'm just going to tell you, look, if it were you, if it was your dad, would you want something that was non-invasive? Would you want something that was proven to be regenerative, so that you know the mechanism? By the way, this is 47 control centers. It was so well conducted. That's why it was published here in a prestigious journal. They used a photosensitizer. It was a certain type. It was a deep sea bacteria. It's not common, but the one that is common is methylene blue. And so what people are doing is exactly what Mel Gibson talked about with his 3 friends when he spoke on Rogan. He said that they were all stage 4. They all went into remission, and that they were all using methylene blue, which means that they were using, if they were knowledgeable, using red light, because you should not use that if you're not, because it needs to be activated at 660 nanometer red light, so that it causes apoptosis, which is programmed cell death. And that's why it's a photosensitizer. It sensitizes the body to light, so that when the light now goes in, it's causing your body to produce reactive oxygen species like singlet oxygen, which is so powerful that it's being used, not commonly used, but it's being used in military settings to shoot airborne missiles. And so your body produces something that shoots airborne missiles and explodes them, and it makes it itself. It's called singlet oxygen, which is bright red fluorescent, and it goes straight for the target, which is disease cells, and causes explosions in the body, and actually will destroy cells. Yeah.
We've talked about this briefly before, but the methylene blue, I have yet to purchase any or use it in conjunction with the devices you sent. So if you could just briefly touch on that for a moment, because I do want to get to the Hashimoto's thyroid study after that.
Oh, I'd love to. So with methylene blue, it is, as I mentioned, a photosensitizer. It works extremely well through hypersensitizing the body to light, and it causes the body to be able to generate, like I'm mentioning, more of the reactive oxygen species.
Okay, so that's how it works. It basically gives, it's like you're priming your body with a material that's going to be reactive to the light and have even more of an effect than traditionally it would.
Correct.
So if I started supplementing with methylene blue and doing the red light, my results would even be accelerated.
Yes. And I will give a counter to it, right? So if you use other photosensitizers, let's say berberine, which is a photosensitizer, or curcumin, which is 6,000 studies have been done on curcumin, which is the active ingredient in turmeric. So then, go for it, get it. It's great. There's clearly zero downsides to taking turmeric, right? But the problem is, it is often, and I would say for all people, not highly bioavailable. So it's not getting to where it needs to get to, and people are taking it and then going, well, why is it not working? And the answer is because, like all things, they all need to get activated by light. Every single thing needs to get activated by light. Yeah. So at very least, like if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, well now based on this, what do I need to do? Well, at very least, you need to, when you take your supplements or you eat your healthy diet, make sure to get sunlight every day, right? Now, why would you then do red light specifically? Well, it's up to about 40 times the strength of the sun in terms of irradiance, right? The ability to get into the body and to generate the cellular activity and stimulate mitochondrial activity, produce ATP and nitric oxide, etc. So there's curcumin, but my point in saying that is that methylene blue is it has a toxic aspect to it because it is a dye. And on the other hand, people would say, well, look, it's one of the oldest medications, and it's proven to be an extremely safe medication, and it's proven to dramatically increase the oxygen intake. And so it has severe and great upsides, so that if you were battling something, then it's a no-brainer for me. For example, out of 10 studies, 7 showed clear tumor reduction, sometimes almost complete, up to 99 to 100% shrinkage. Specifically, colorectal cancer, melanoma, and certain carcinomas. In breast cancer and HeLa tumor models, the results were weaker, but still the tumors grew much slower than in untreated animals. Okay, so these are key takeaways. And if you use Grok or ChatGPT and you say, of all the studies done on cancer and the photosensitizers used, show me the best photosensitizer, and it will tell you methylene blue stands head and shoulders as the best. And the great thing about that is it's the cheapest. And it means that you could do what is practiced at cancer centers. By the way, this is the premier cancer center, like the Hope for Cancer Center, the chief medical officer that wrote that.
I am going to buy some methylene blue right now.
Yes, and I would say still use it sparingly. I wouldn't say do it every day if you don't have these issues that we're talking about, right? I would say maybe that means once a week. Maybe that means you do it for a few weeks so that you're clearing out all these potential threats that you have, and then go off it for a bit. So it's not the thing that you just kind of use every day.
I got some drops.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I like the one by Earth Harmony. That's Dr. Ed Group. It's got some nanos.
There is Earth Harmony.
Yeah, nano gold is in it. And you'll see that some of these studies here, so you see on the last paragraph there, a major finding was that methylene blue worked far better when delivered using nanotechnology carriers like liposomes or nanoparticles, because they help the dye reach and stay in the tumor more effectively. And so they're using a nano gold in that. So I just want to give them a shout out.
Would I do the droppers or would I do the pills?
The droppers, but it will make your tongue a bit blue, but you could kind of try to get it at the back of your throat, or you could put it. The easiest way to do that is you get like veggie capsules and you open them up, put the methylene blue in, seal the capsule.
Well, they sell it here with capsules. You can buy the Earth Harmony methylene blue capsules for humans.
Oh, they just developed that, and Ed should have told me. He texts me every day. So that's great. Get that. That's awesome. They just developed that. That's great.
200 bought last month, it says here on Amazon.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
That's great.
Add to cart. All right, doing that right now. Let's go.
Yeah, so look at this, and this is direct from the study.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked here, but I want the maximum results that I can get here.
Exactly, and remember to just kind of know that it's a synthetic dye, and that you use it sparingly for that reason. So the photodynamic action of curcumin and methylene blue provides a possible approach against bacteria, and that was the. You can read that yourself, because they act as a non-toxic photosensitizer in photodynamic therapy, and with an antibacterial effect and antiviral properties. So there is this direct connection to how cancer, a lot of these diseases have a viral aspect to them, and so if we can clear them out of the body, then we can get profound results by doing so. Here's the study on the sauna experience. One of them actually showed a 63% reduction in sudden cardiac death with sauna. And so getting a sauna blanket for just a few $100s, right? Which is way better than having a $10,000 unit that's in your garage you never use or whatever. Like, just these blankets end up making people be able to access therapies.
And you sent us one of those too. My wife uses it all the time.
Oh, great! I'm so glad to hear that. I didn't know that. That's great. And how's she feeling?
Oh, she's feeling great.
Oh, great.
No, I mean, she's after the episode from a few months ago. She's been on her own health journey, and these interviews with you, and some of the consultations she's having with her doctors, have really created this synergistic effect where she's just like, it's like a new woman, really, and it's wonderful.
Oh, bro, and how does that make you feel, Gary?
It feels like I have my wife back. I mean, personally, you never want your significant other to get ill, and when they do, your entire lifestyle changes, and you're searching for solutions. I mean, I'm blessed to have to know you, and I'm blessed that she's reaching out to people in her orbit for advice and direction, and all these things are coming together. It just makes my life better, makes her life 100% better, and life then finds its new normal, and that new normal has a new baseline because we're elevated above that previous situation because now our health's better. I mean, it's an amazing experience.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's beautiful. And that's what matters, because we've all got loved ones that are suffering and going through things. And if we can make each other's lives better, then we can change lives. Starting today, it's one of those things that it's a simple and small thing that has a tremendous ripple effect, and people have no idea, right? Like, you think about Joseph. What vision did he have that he gave to Pharaoh? And it was that there's 7 cows, and there was 7 skinny cows, and they ate the 7 fat cows. And what was that? That there was going to be 7 years of plenty and then 7 years of famine. And so if they didn't get that word, then Egypt would have starved to death. And here is like a foreigner, like an Israelite, that has now been merged in because he was captured as a slave. But he gave a vision to Pharaoh that caused him then to become a prime minister, and then gave a vision that had them look forward and save them all from starvation. And if we do not think like this, Gary, then our lives end up looking so much different as a result. And it's time to activate the health and healing that we need today so that we can have the lives that we want tomorrow. It's that simple.
I want to talk about the Hashimoto's thyroid study,
Yep.
because it's 96% reached
Yep.
normal measurements. And I think we need to reconnect your slide so we can make
Yeah,
sure
yeah, I got that. No problems. Yep. I'll flash it
bring it
up right
back
now.
up here.
Yeah, you got
So
it.
if you could bring up that slide and explain exactly what's happening for people who are experiencing that.
Absolutely. So I'll flash this up here. So what you've got with the Hashimoto studies was far beyond what I would have ever expected, because Hashimoto's from
We're not seeing this. We're not seeing the slide.
no, yeah. No, I'll pull it up. So what we're showing here is that the Hashimoto's, if you go to functional medicine doctors, and I've seen this, right? So I had a woman, Natalia Voloshin. She had seen 30 different specialists. Half of them were naturopaths and functional medicine doctors. The other half were Cleveland Clinic, the big hitters, conventional, right? So she spent $200,000 over the course of 5.5 years. She's Estonian. She was in Florida where she lives, working her career. She had to quit. Her legs were going gangrene. She was told that in 2 weeks we're going to have, after all this, of all that time, all that money, she was told that we're going to have to amputate both of your legs because she had vasculitis, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, rheumatoid arthritis, and myositis.
Oh my God.
And then she found me and watched a documentary series that I screened for free. And that's how hundreds of millions of people have found my work. And I can show you the screenshots to validate that those view counts are real and they're not bots. And you can see under some videos 20 million views and 800,000 likes. I'll flash some of that up on screen maybe later. But she found us and then implemented a protocol that meant that she then put her conditions in remission, got off the chemo and steroids that she was taking to stop her legs from going gangrene, and reversed her conditions. And what I've seen is so common that most doctors, the naturopaths, the functional medicine doctors, they don't understand regenerative medicine, so they manage with medications. And so that study showed that on the 3-week treatment, the women in this case, and you'll see in the fine print here, this was 98 women, and they got near infrared light. It was 200 milliwatts of power, and which is exactly what you're getting from this panel. You're getting 810, 830, and 850 and 1060. So you're getting not only right in that around that wavelength, but you're getting additional wavelengths. But the 3 weeks and twice a week meant that they went into remission. 96% did anyway. And of the 98 women that were in the study, 97 completed it. And look at this, they all lost weight as well. Normalization, weight loss, reductions in body mass index, hip to waist circumference, waist to hip ratio. So achieving normal thyroid size is then life changing. They did combine selenium and vitamin D. So that gives you great clues there. And all these keywords then mean that you can go and find this exact study. The study is listed right here. And then if you're battling with a life-threatening thyroid condition, then just follow the steps. And the other one, then, if you said, okay, well, I'm going to just go with vitamin D, iron, and selenium because they work and they will improve my thyroid function. So I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to skip red light because, you know what, I just, I don't want to. Okay, well, just know that this study showed the therapy was shown to be more effective than supplements alone about how many times? 70 times better once the red light was added. So that's two groups. The one group had vitamin D, iron, and selenium, no red light. The other group had vitamin D, iron, and selenium and red light. So it's not against nothing. It's against the supplement group. And this is why I'm saying that most of the doctors don't understand this aspect. And the second part was this was 70 times better at improving thyroid hormone balance and 15 times better at reducing medication needs. Okay, so that's the breakthrough. There was another study that it was only 5 weeks, 2 sessions a week, and 47 went into remission. And this was chronic autoimmune thyroiditis. 47% went into remission from needing to take levothyroxine or Synthroid at all anymore after 5 weeks. And that was at a 9-month follow-up. What if they had have kept going for more than 5 weeks? Do you think that maybe not just 47%, but maybe 60, 70, 80, 90, 100%?
Right.
Yeah, you get my point. That's the study right there.
Unbelievable. The periarthritis study proves that when you combine the PEMF with the red light, creates the synergistic effect. This is basically like the frequency plus light combination medbed technology that it describes.
Exactly. Because this is the study. And now if I give you some examples here, right? So if you look at PEMF, and I'll kind of set the ball ready so I can hit the home run on it, Gary. And so I will answer that. I'll show you that, for example, for muscle loss, PEMF is working the best. And so with our elderly parents, or if you're watching this and you're in that 50, 60, 70, even 40, sarcopenia, muscle loss is happening for everyone. And I'm not going to reference back to the picture of me, but I can tell you that I've struggled with this, right? I've struggled with being able to keep on weight. And so I'm the one that goes underweight really quickly. This 2025 study showed that PEMF can help older adults with sarcopenia, which is muscle loss, muscle wasting. After just 12 sessions, participants had stronger leg muscles, moved faster and more steadily in walking tests, and reported fewer depressive symptoms. Okay. Now have a look. There's the clinical study there. Now, what happened with periarthritis is a good clue for what happens to all things. Because if you go into nature, what happens? If you go and get red light, what are you getting at the same time as red light? If you've got your feet against the ground and no shoes on, you getting grounding?
That's what they call it, right?
Yeah. And what is that? That's the Earth's magnetic pulse. And what does that do? That interfaces with mitochondria. It actually will stimulate mitochondrial function. And guess what it will do? Produce stem cells.
Huh.
Yeah. Yes.
But what you're doing provides an exponential scale.
Exactly. So this here, when I was pushing AI with it to show, like, mirror to me the Earth's magnetic pulse and the pulse of this device, like the specific device that we have with 150 millitesla. And I'll show you what I found. And it was about 1 million times the amplitude of the Earth's magnetic amplitude, and about the similar amount with magnetic field strength, which was 150 millitesla versus 0.00005 millitesla. I'll show you that on the screen. But this here was a 2-month period, and all treated groups experienced less pain. And this was the combination of pulse electromagnetic field therapy and red light therapy together. Okay. And it proved to be the most effective treatment compared to either therapy alone. Okay. It reduced tenderness, and therefore you had better shoulder movement and function. But those receiving the combined therapy showed the greatest and most long-lasting improvements. By the way, the studies done on both red light and PEMF both independently show that the results last for up to 6 months. Okay. So meaning that you could go on a vacation for a month and come back without any relapse. And that's really important to know, because it's not a Band-Aid. It's actually improving the function. But if you then go 6 months and then you then go, okay, well, I just don't want to do this anymore. Well, it's the same thing of saying like, well, I got
But your
hydrated,
devices,
I don't drink
but your
water.
devices are, you have the big ones, the panels, but then you have the smaller ones you can throw in a suitcase.
Exactly. So you could travel with anything like that. Absolutely. And then what's going to happen is you're optimal at that point, and you're happier because, by the way, the studies on depression and anxiety are massive. They even test people 1 hour after the light is over their brain, and then see, let's have a look at your depression scores 1 hour after the light has been over you. Oh wow, we've seen a jump, a significant improvement in your depression scores. And let's test it the second hour after you've done the red light. Okay, wow, it's even better again. So it's not that it's working while it's on you. It does, but that's not when it's really working. It's working when you go to sleep that
Well,
night.
because you're charging it up. Basically, your
Yeah.
cells are getting charged up. So when you're under the light, and then I'm going to try to break this down.
Yes.
So you're under the light. You're absorbing, and your body's getting charged. And then once it's charged, you leave the red light, and the charge starts to circulate through the body. The cells start doing their thing, and then that's why you could go, like you said, a certain amount of time, because your cells have been like basically recharged like a battery, and
Yep.
then you go back in, get another charge, come back out, repeat the cycle, and experience the results. That's freaking nuts, man.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Yeah, so awesome. And that's it. That is the breakdown, and which people could do independently and just do a test between the two, grounding versus pulsed electromagnetic field. And there's the difference. Magnetic field strength, 1 to 100 millitesla. Some systems go up to, clinical systems go up to 150 millitesla. That's what we did. It's like a clinical system at a consumer price. And then look at the difference there with grounding, 150 versus 0.0005. And then, which is 50 nanotesla, and then amplitude difference a million times stronger. And then here's the frequency range, which is 1 to 100 frequency, and specifically the 1 to 30 is the most beneficial, which means that if you have a device, you've got to then choose, like you've got to go, okay, well, just put into Google, like, what's the best, most proven for sleep? And it will say, okay, it's two for the frequency range. So you select select 2, or if it's like the best for sarcopenia is 15, for example, then you go to 15, and that's the one. And if you put a magnet on, you'll see it bouncing around, and you realize, okay, wow, this is what it does to my body. And that's like the layers that are in it, right? So you've got 13 different layers, which is combining both red light, blue, and green, which are proven for various functions. Like green is really good for pain relief, and blue is for skin bacteria and circadian rhythm balance and things like that, which then have a direct impact on the microbiome because it's circadian rhythm based. And then you've got far infrared heat therapy, which is different than red and near infrared. Far infrared is a heat therapy, and so you got that combined with then the PEMF, pulse electromagnetic field. And there's the studies done on the 1 to 30 hertz range, which mirroring the Earth's natural electromagnetic rhythm, such as the Schumann resonance, and that's why it's optimizing cellular energy and promoting recovery and reducing inflammation, etc. And the studies were done with the 1 to 30 hertz range over the knees, for example, 1 hour session. And this was only 9 sessions, but look at the benefits. This was pain relief, and it lasted for up to 6 months without any side effects. But the fake treatment group didn't get the same benefit. And that's what you'll see time and time again. It's not a placebo. And then same thing is true then when you come into the 150 millitesla magnetic field strength. When human stem cells have been tested against them, you'll see that the 150 millitesla magnetic field strength is what's causing the production of collagen and vascular endothelial growth factor, which is how the body produces new blood vessels. And
so I want, because I want to kind of bring it down to sort of layman's terms here.
Yep.
Because people can get lost in some of
They could.
the language. What this is we're talking about the PEMF mat.
Yeah.
And the different settings on the PEMF mat that allow for these different frequencies to permeate your body.
Yeah.
That will then produce these results. So basically, in a nutshell, when you put this on your bed, because that's where we use ours, we put it on the bed,
right.
and we lay down on it, and then we put the red light over us, and that's what we do. So the different settings on the device, the one you sent us is pretty simple to understand. It's just push button, you pick. We did have one that was more complicated that had like the interface was like you could dial it all in. It's really complicated, but the one you sent us is kind of like it's idiot proof. Okay,
Yeah.
so is there a setting on it that's just like on your red light? You've got the full frequency, the full spectrum. You're gonna get it all, and then on the PEMF, it's like boom, you're just gonna get it all. Because
Well,
sometimes
yeah,
it's like
you do have to choose. That's the only difference with the PMF. You have to choose. You've got between 1 and 30 for the frequency range. Everything else, you can push up the heat or lower that with the far infrared, and the red light and the blue and green is either on or off, and then the magnetic field strength doesn't change on the devices that we've got there, and that's what's great because you just want the maximum. And these are ones where like the red light, you're not supposed to be doing more than 30 minutes twice a day, typically, if you have the time for that, but you could do as little as 12 minutes twice a week, right? So, or with the Birmingham University showed 1 minute 5 times consecutively per day, 1 minute per day, increased cell viability by 45%. So you could do like really minimal amounts with red light and get a ton of benefit. PMF, it's 30 minutes plus is really great, but you could go hours on it and it's not going to do any harm. You could sleep on it and it's going to be beneficial. That's
well, my kids actually they love it. They actually fight over the PEMF mat because they lay on it. It's nice and warm. And sometimes they'll go to sleep on it, and it's actually kind of interesting. They really enjoy it.
Wow.
So I do
Wow.
want to ask you about. So basically, we're talking about the medbed technology.
Yep.
It's basically just under another medical terminology.
Yep.
So connect the dots for our viewers and how these two connect.
Yes, absolutely. This is a great example of that. This is red light and PMF together for androgenic alopecia. And by the way, just to make it clear as well, if you get if you get our PMF mat, this is not common at all, but it does have red light combined with the PMF. The reason why it's ideal to have a panel like this, which by the way, like the one that's next to me, I can lay this horizontal by just 2 screws and then flipping it, and then you are able to do both at the same time. But the reason why it is more beneficial, even though look, it's up to you, you could do either one or both, or just the PMF with the red light, it's up to you. But the reason why it's going to be so much more beneficial is going to cover all your organs. And you've got, in this case, because they're dual lights and they're 42 mil chips, highest test steady radiance I've seen, 9 different wavelengths, you've got 576 light emitting diodes, by the way, 0 flicker, so 100% toxic free, 0 EMFs, which proven by independently and on meters, which I'll show. But what you are doing is you're stacking those therapies to the best of your capacity. This is picking up the EMF in the room. So once you see this drop, I get out a signal. I'm going to just put it right against the device, and you'll see that it's going down. And in fact, this is going to hit a 0. This is going to hit a 0 once it gets out of the EMF range, right? Because this EMF is coming off the computer. But as soon as wait for it.
Wow.
So it's going to keep going down. There you go. Like it went to 2. It'll hit 0. There we go. It went 0.5 there. It's
wow.
There's 0 coming out of the device. It's just in the room, and because it's constant. There's the 0. There you go. You would never go down to 0 if there's anything coming out of this. But it's getting the signal in the room. So just keep awareness there. So it's 0 coming out of it. But coming back to this study here with androgenic alopecia as one example, when red light and PMF was combined, it worked better than either one alone. And that this was stimulating hair follicles, and hair is connected to bone and nails. They're all connected. And so that's why when you're seeing hair loss, then you should be concerned about what's happening with your bone density. See what I'm talking about? Everything is connected. And so what you are doing is you're increasing both of these functions through the mitochondria like you are in nature, but you're accelerating nature. And
I love it.
You've tapped into the medbed of nature. You're tapping into God's given frequencies, and you're exemplifying what God has made us to be, which is made in his image, which means that we're meant to harness what he has made and make it applicable, the most applicable in our time. And so you can see the increase in hair density in short periods of time. It's supercharging the cell's ability to grow stronger, healthier hair, but that goes for all functions. So that's what you do when you're combining these therapies. It's a really simple concept, and you can see that we illustrate this in various different ways. and you're normalizing the oxygen in your cells by doing both of these therapies, because once you interface with mitochondrial function, you're interfacing with the way that the body produces oxygen. You're actually dealing with cellular respiration. Once the cells can breathe, you can function
Wow.
normally. It's all cellular respiration. That's what it is.
Wow.
And that's the reason why. What is it that we haven't eaten during this call? We were fine not eating. And if we didn't take a sip of water during this call, we'd be fine. But guess what? We couldn't. Guess what? If we had missed out on doing it, we'd both be dead right now. What would that be?
Oh, you tell me.
Yeah, oxygen. If we didn't breathe during this interview, we'd both be dead. And that's why we have to breathe so much, is because we need it for cellular function. But then the reason why then you go like, well, I'll just deep breathe. Yes, do that. Deep breathe and you will get better health. But why is this essential? Because this is what's essential for completing something called the electron transport chain. When your cells actually need to undergo different processes, and light is what activates the ability for the cells to breathe properly. It's cellular respiration. And that is where you're activating the natural gases that your cells produce, like nitric oxide. And then you're dealing also with so once inside, light reaches the mitochondria, where it's absorbed by molecules like cytochrome C oxidase and oxygen. This absorption triggers a burst of reactive oxygen species that damages, in this case, cancer cells' mitochondria and mitochondrial DNA, disrupting its energy production signaling. As a result, the cancer cell becomes unstable and eventually undergoes apoptosis or programmed cell death, while healthy cells remain largely unaffected. And this is true for all disease cells in the body. Senescent cells, that's what happens to them. And we've all got senescent cells where the cells have stopped multiplying, but they don't die right away. And then we're clearing out these cells. And if you're sick and tired, guess what's sick and tired? Your cells. So what they need to undergo apoptosis. Once that happens, then you are feeling not tired anymore, energetic, healthy. Your mind is clear. Your cognitive function is normalized. That's what's happening with people combining these therapies, and they're getting their lives back, Gary.
Amazing. I want to ask you about, because we're coming up against the clock now, and we're coming up against the end of the year.
Yep.
December timing, cold weather, New Year's resolutions. So for somebody who wants to access this technology right now, what is available? This is the last question.
Absolutely. So by going to myredlight.com, you can access these tools right away. You can go and place an order. I encourage you to do that. Remember, you're fully covered by a 3-year warranty on the panels, and then 1 year plus on the rest of the devices. And then you are able to then access these technologies in your home forever, right? And so, this is the reason why, like the Hope for Cancer Center, the Dr. Tony Jimenez, when I sent him a testimonial of somebody that was free from this big disease that everyone is scared of, which we should be. I get that. You shouldn't be scared once you have the tools, though. But he was celebrating with me, and then he sent me a picture back of him under our Red Life devices, and that's what he's using for his patient program. So it's very hard to know sometimes whether you're getting something that would be trusted by physicians that you respect. Like Mike Adams is somebody that loves using our Red Life devices. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, like you got Dr. Brian Artis, his whole team is using our devices. Dr. Ed Group, which is Earth Harmony, right? So he's using these daily. Dr. Henry Ely, like a lot of the big hitters out there, they're using these devices because they're so effective. And so you look at their frequency range, you've got the 1 to 30 frequency range, you've got the magnetic field strength of 150 millitesla, just like we showed in the studies, the 180 irradiance. And it's such a low price. And we just wanted to compete at the highest level, because we know that some people won't get what they need because of the fact that it's out of reach, right? So to go to the Hope for Cancer Center, if that's what you need, then you need to do that. And I respect it. I love that center. It's $43,000 for 3 weeks, right? So just what you're doing is you're setting up your home. So this is what we're talking about here with this device. I'm setting it up, and then you'll see me on it, and I'm putting this magnet on it, which is just like, it's bouncing. You can see it just rattling around there, because that's what it's doing to your cells in your body. It's charging them up. And so then you could put the red light over the top of you there. And the thing here to know with the aspect of this that makes it powerful versus weak is is the milliwatts delivered, the irradiance. This is 205 milliwatts delivered per centimeter squared at 3 inches. And so you're getting the highest delivery power. You've got all of the 9 wavelengths that we've been showing, the 9 most proven wavelengths, which is all these back here, right? So the 480, the 590, 630, 660, 670, 810, 830, 850, 1060. Like this is the one, 670, that's proven for the eyes open, looking into it in the morning, 17% improvement in eyesight within that same 24-hour period using 670 nanometer light. The breast cancer study we showed in previous studies, that was the 660 that was used, which was a 40% drop in vitro in a petri dish, human cell lines though, in 24 hours. This was the study that we showed on lymphomas. But more importantly, for organ function, for all people, like you're penetrating all the regions of the body that are essential. We're using all of those proven wavelengths, and then the near infrared region, 810, 830, 850, 1060. And people needing that education, like, and this was the longer list, right? When you look at wound healing, injury healing, oral health, what are you spending on this? I've got my father-in-law right now in Tijuana because medical tourism makes a lot of sense. Best biological dentist in the world. I'll give him a shout out. The Bio Implant Center in Tijuana, and he had the most toxic infections in his teeth imaginable, and that is a massive driver for cancer. And Gary, for the first time I thought about lying. Well, I've thought about lying before, but as in for the first time in a while, I got close to lying because he didn't want to accept the financial help. And so I thought about trying to convince the doctor to tell him that it was free, even though I was going to pay for it. But he's like not going to believe that anyway. But he was willing to accept the help, and I needed him to do that because if we don't get the treatments that we need, if you've got toxic root canals and amalgams, guys, you need to get them out, and you need a biological dentist. Just a shout out on that. Stem cell regeneration, Parkinson's disease, hypertension, liver function, pain relief, asthma, tinnitus, arthritis, multiple sclerosis, pain relief. These are all the wavelengths proven for these conditions: athletic performance, post-recovery workout, mental stamina, cognitive performance, pain relief, sun damage, wrinkles, droopy eyelids, under eye circles, broken capillaries, anti-aging, acne, scars, rosacea, hair growth, fat loss, fat burning, cellulite reduction, metabolism, muscle building, fertility and sperm mobility and sperm motility, which means that this is what's protecting our future generation. Look at the studies on that. They are mind-blowing. Herpes, cold sores, genital and other simplexes, depression, anxiety, lung cancer, brain. We saw these ones, and we saw these ones, eyesight, and all these ones too, and all these ones too. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about getting the 9 most essential wavelengths, and that's what we've done here. There is no other device like it on the market, and that's why it's been trusted by these top clinics. And then you can look at like a combination there where we've got those together with a big discount there. And that's, the best way to start 2026. I'm telling you that you've got your own personal healing space, and you bet on yourself for life. And like anything else, if I buy a single supplement, that single supplement, I'm going to have to reorder it for the rest of my life if it's the one I like. That single supplement will cost more than that bundle, for example. Over the next 10 years, that one supplement for $50 is $600 for the year. Over the next 10 years, that's $6,000. Okay, that's one person, one supplement, which can do nothing for you, right? Not one supplement. And then my whole family using that same supplement, family of 4, that means we're up for $24,000 over the next 10 years on that one supplement. So this is the way to get out of the system, save a ton of money, save on all the different things like for your oral health and for your eye health and for your liver, all the different things that come with pain. By the way, the PEMF was proven in clinical studies with insomniacs. During the clinical study, 69.7% went into complete remission of insomnia. What do you think that means when you get better sleep? And so it improves everything, guys. So it's really simple. And there's the codes. You could just use those. And we've made it super accessible. You've got payment plans that you can access there as well. So what you would pay for not even one session at a clinic, you can take that same money and invest it. And that's your monthly payment. And then you own it at the end, and no more payments from then on. And so it's that simple, guys. Choose the one that makes sense to you. The one that's behind me right now is you can make me full screen. This is the RL Pro 300 Max, and you can see how long it is there. It's covering all my organs, and that's what's essential. It doesn't need to get to your feet and toes unless you've got something going on there. And then in which case you could just put it on that section. This is RL Pro 200, right? So it's still going to cover almost all your organs. And yes, I'm looking into it because we talked about that. So that
yes, we did.
That gives you a good clue of what's going on there. And it's really simple. Or
which one did you send us? Did you send us the Max?
Yes, that's the one that you guys got, and it's stand, and that's what you guys do.
What a
Oh
blessing.
man,
Jonathan,
dude.
you're a blessing to our audience. You're a blessing to our family. And I just hope everyone, takes advantage of these things. I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. And I look forward to having you back with some more news and more studies with respect to these things.
Thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate it. And just remember, guys, as well, like it could be as simple as grabbing something like this, right? And
Yeah.
then you can put it everywhere. You see what I mean? So I just want, and a couple $100, right? So it's just get started, guys, and do what you need to do. Whether get out in sunlight, get out grounding, guys. Do things for your health today. Get enough water and hydration. Make those healthier choices. Look at going gluten-free, getting off the foods that cause you inflammation and gut problems. Make choices today that will reward you with the life you want tomorrow, guys. It's that simple, and you deserve it. Gary, look at you losing 25 pounds in the last few weeks. You're a rock star, man. I just respect you for loving yourself that way, and I want to encourage everyone to love yourself the way that Gary has and made those choices that he made, the way his wife has loved herself by making those choices to go, not only do I have this, and she could have been like, oh, somebody gave me something for free, I don't care, but she used it, and that changed her life, guys. So take advantage of the opportunities that we have, because a lot of people don't have those opportunities. They don't have it, but you do, and I do, and you do, Gary. So God bless you.
God bless you too. Yes, we are walking testimonies. So Patriots, the evidence is undeniable. 4 studies, 4 different conditions, even more. I mean, we covered the gamut of everything, and it's one technology. This is medbed science. It's hidden in plain sight. Light therapy, PEMF. They're not alternatives to medbed technology. They actually are medbed technology. Stem cell activation, cellular regeneration, frequency healing. It's all here. It's proven in the peer-reviewed research you just saw. So while they make you wait for official medbeds, the same technology is actually available right now. The website to go to is linked down below. Visit mypemfmat.com and myredlight.com. Use codes NNN25 and NNN30. Do not wait another day when these studies prove the future of healing is already here.